Hello and welcome to a hopefully not so long Stationeers video. Today I'm going to be talking about some tips and guide basically to the Mimus system. I've been playing Mimus now for, I don't know, 60, 70 hours, something like that. And so I thought I'd put together a quick tips video. Hopefully this will help you guys, but I found it quite challenging. It's set as intermediate, but I don't know, like I say, it's power is a major issue on this world. So I mean, some other things to note: it has got slightly less gravity, so you do sort of fly around a bit more. So I rebound my jetpack key to the middle mouse button, but you know, I found it quite useful in just stopping your sort of your bouncing around that happens quite a lot. But it's also got no atmosphere, just like the moon. So just like the moon, you can just build a lot of your stuff outside. You don't have to worry about storms or anything like that. So that's one of the plus sides of it. There aren't many, but anyway, so let's get into the guide. So the first sort of thing I'd like to talk about is solar panels. Now, as you can see here, the sun over there is only generating a paltry 63 watts, and this is at maximum efficiency. I wouldn't even bother with the basic solar panels. I think they produce like 30, maybe 40 watts, but you're going to need a few of them. I recommend at least 5, because obviously the logic to run these pulls about 20-30 watts, I can't remember now, and obviously overnight you're going to run out of power, so you need quite a few of these. But I wouldn't go overboard. It's probably not going to be your main sort of source of power. Also, as well, I don't know if you've noticed here, but so this is 90 degrees over here. So this is north over here. I recommend on other worlds you can place them east-west, but here the sun is very low to the ground, and also it's probably going to go behind Jupiter or whatever that is over there, but so placing them sort of east-west sort of makes a lot of sense, really. Like I say, the sun does rise over there where I'm pointing, but so a few of the solar panels will not work in the morning effectively, but this way you'll get maximum sort of solar efficiency during the day. And like I say, and in the evening, you'll see in a second, look, it just goes behind Jupiter and you lose the sun again. So in the evening, you're not going to be getting a huge amount of power out of these anyway. Here you go, look, it's doing 0. Now it will come the other side of Jupiter in a second, but anyway, so like I say, your mileage may vary on these, but don't go overboard on solar power. Now, one of the things that you will be using a lot is this guy here. It's the portable generator. Now it takes a little fuel canister here. If I just pop that down, you can see it's just got a regular fuel mix in it. There's a reasonable amount of volatiles and oxides on this world. So basically, running fuel generators initially, like I say, you'll be running this one here, the portable generator. But later on you'll be running the GFG, the gas fuel generator, which is basically this guy's bigger brother. It's pretty good. I haven't set that up. I've sort of managed on other power sources we'll talk about in a minute, but as you can see, it does require, this portable generator does require sort of mounting on a plate that you can attach power to, basically. But it's pretty good. If I turn it on, I don't know if it's going to tell us. No. Okay. But basically, it's producing about 500 watts of power. As you can see there, it is off-gassing some stuff. Your mileage may vary about sort of collecting and processing those gases. I haven't tried. I've seen someone else try, and basically the whole thing blew up. blew up even. So be very careful about how you do that. But this thing is absolutely vital. Like I say, 500 watts of power still isn't a lot of power, but as far as Mimus goes, it's quite a lot of power. So I recommend getting this set up and getting this working as soon as you can. It does come as part of your default kit. Let's talk about that in a second. So here we are. So with the standard Mimus setup, you do start in your electrical supplies there. If you look at the bottom, you can see it comes with a portable generator package, and that's basically what you'll be using. Now while we're on this screen, I'd also like to talk about this. The next sort of major sort of milestone that you'll have in power is getting your Stirling engine set up. Now obviously you probably want to rush getting the furnace set up so you can smelt ores that way. The electric furnace obviously draws quite a lot of power, and power, like I say, is a major issue here. So I predominantly, as much as possible, use the furnace for smelting all types of ores. I mean, even sort of later game, I've forgone having like the electric welder. I can't remember what it's called now, but I've stuck with the basic welder, because basically, you know, it just uses gas, and you know, you can make and process that. But that's a side note. But let's talk about setting up your Stirling engine. Now initially this only comes with one radiator. Sorry, I think it comes with two, but you'll have one inside and one outside. You might want to upgrade that, but let's jump back into the game, and I'll show you what I've set up, and show you the setup that I've set up that seems to work quite well. So this is the setup that I've sort of been using. It's been pretty successful. I've been very happy with this. You know, it's cold at the moment, but basically I've got my furnace set up here. Lots of pipework, lots of manual valves. I like to control things a lot, but anyway. But basically I've got effectively a hot tank here, and you can open the valve and it just sends things through the generator, and I can control here whether or not the gas goes on a continuous cycle, or, like I say, just feeds off it. I have found it, you know, it will just run if you just turn on the gas from the hot tank. It does cool down slowly, but it'll easily generate, I don't know, 500 to up to like 1,500 watts of power, which is quite good. So this thing does produce a reasonable amount of power. Now you could go overboard and generate even more power, but this is prone to exploding, so you know, yeah, if you want to take that risk, that's up to you guys. But normally in this tank here, as you can see, running about sort of 500 degrees centigrade. So if I turn it on here, I've got a little gauge over here. You can see we're producing 3.6 kilowatts of power. Now that includes the solar panels that are just behind me, but so maybe take, you know, 100 watts off that, but still 3.6 kilowatts is pretty good. So let's jump in here. While I'm jumping in here, you can see I've got the manual airlocks, and I recommend setting this up like with manual airlocks yourself, because power, even for your main base, is a major issue, really. But in here I'm running a pure nitrogen environment. Now you could run CO2, but I've had it in the past where I've forgotten to turn off the valves outside to shut off the radiators, and temperature in here has dropped to minus 150, and that's the temperature that CO2 starts to freeze. So I'm also running, like I say, nitrogen in the pipes as well for the radiators, and that's been very effective for the same reason. Like I say, nitrogen doesn't liquefy for quite some time, really. so it's really worthwhile setting up. And we're getting pretty warm in here. I've probably forgotten to turn my radiators on. Let me do that quickly. So around the back of the system here, you can see I've got like 3 radiators. Now I've just turned them on, so it's going to be very hot gas. It's cooling down pretty quick, but I've found 3 of these thermal radiators has been quite good. I have 2 normal convection radiators inside and 3 of these outside, but the gas comes out of the room in this directional. I don't know if it makes a huge difference, but I have set it up like that. But so the gas comes out of the room down this pipe, runs in through these things. I don't know if I can highlight it. You can see that it's not saying an input. No, well, whatever. But that's the input on these radiators. The output is on this side here, and I had a little tank so I can prime the system with some nitrogen and stuff. But yeah, so I've found it, like I say, it's well, we're down to 2 kilowatts already, but it's pretty good. Let's see what the temperature's doing. It's 115 in there, so it's not great. I should have turned my radiators on first, but like I say, I recommend having a system outside where you've got a couple of valves to turn your external radiators on and off. It really helps the room stop freezing. Now obviously you want the internal gas in that room to be as cold as possible, because the Stirling engine does use sort of gas in the room to cool itself down. So, but I found this to be very, very effective. Like I say, it's a good source of power right the way through my playthrough. Now whilst I'm here, let's also talk about, let me just turn that off. Let me talk about a little venting system I've tried. Now obviously you've got hot gas in here that's sort of circulating around and generating power for you. After a while that'll cool down. So I've set up another little valve here so I can redirect the outflow to this little turbine room I've got here. I've been a little bit disappointed with this. It seems to have a maximum temperature threshold, so that was 400 degrees, so that would be safe, but it seems about sort of 500 degrees your turbine's going to get destroyed, so you need to be a little bit careful of that. But literally I just have the gas coming in here, running through the turbine, and then just venting just straight outside. It doesn't produce a huge amount of power, but like I say, you're sort of scrimping and scraping for power, so it maybe produces, I don't know, 10 watts, 20 watts when the whole thing is venting. So it's not huge, but at least it's something. So if you're thinking about doing this, you can maybe give this a miss, but if you want to be super efficient, maybe try it. But anyway, up to you. The next thing I'd sort of like to talk about is your habitat. Now obviously I've sort of upgraded the doors and stuff, but like I say, I really recommend starting off with the manual doors initially, and you can manually operate, your little valve or whatever, your vent here to turn things on and off. Like I say, I usually leave things off. Well, I usually leave things off. Like I say, you're trying to save power as much as possible. But let's jump inside. I've got an advanced airlock set up here later on, but like I say, early game you probably don't really need that. But let's turn the light on so we can see. But initially, I mean, I've created quite a small room. You're going to have to put walls up like I have here. I mean, you can have an entranceway, but the sun obviously passes on the northern side of the map. So I've created a little dark room here, obviously, and but you start out with mushrooms. So mushrooms are quite a good crop. I've been fairly happy with them. They don't produce a huge amount of sort of happiness, if you like, when you eat them. So you won't get lots of water nutrition, but they've been okay as a food source. They do like darkness, so. But one of the big things in here is your environment. Like I say, they, just like you, they breathe oxygen and they output CO2. So you want to be a little bit careful. I mean, like I say, I just dropped loads of oxide in the room, and I initially ran this base, and I'd probably recommend it, just running your atmosphere on just pure oxygen for a while. Now I have sort of vented my sort of output tank into this room a couple of times, but initially, like I say, it's very cold on Mimus. What I did is I started off in the airlock here, and I closed both doors, and I dropped some oxide on the floor, and it wasn't melting, like I say. So you can just evacuate your sort of waste tank, if you like, into this little tiny room here, and then what happens is obviously the oxide then melts, and then you can open the door into your main facility and drop a whole lot more oxide until it reaches the pressure that you want. I've not gone for 100 kPa, but this is all breathable here. If I just take my suit off and stuff, you'll see that we're breathing here fine, no problems at all. So it's more than enough, but you might, like I say, later on you might want to plant some other plants, but because like I say, your CO2 will go up slowly. Now you do start with a reasonable amount of water here. I mean, I've sort of traded and basically got some more water here, but your water will last you, I don't know, at least 20 days, so you don't have to be super efficient about water. But anyway, well, let's talk about crops a little bit here. So as an alternate crop for the day, I actually traded and basically bought some potatoes. Now you do start with soy, but they breathe nitrogen, and obviously nitrogen early game is a bit of a problem, because when you drop that ore you get nitrous oxide, which is poisonous gas. So you'll need to process your gas and like I say, I have put a bit of nitrogen in this room, but I've sort of given up on that sort of side of things, and I went for potatoes. Potatoes seem to be quite a good sort of crop. Now there isn't enough light in here, so as you see there, what I've done is I've set up a little daylight sensor up here and a little tiny bit of logic to basically just detect whether or not the sun is on and off. If I hang on a second, get a screwdriver, you can see, so we're taking input. Oh, this is the writer, sorry, the reader basically takes input from the daylight sensor, and it just reads activate option. So basically, if the daylight sensor is receiving sunlight or not, and then what it does is this is just a writer that basically writes, well, it takes input from the logic reader, outputs in this case to my little hydroponic station here, and it outputs the value of on. So it turns the light on and off automatically. Now here at the moment I've got wheat planted, but wheat doesn't really like this sort of sunlight. Even with the grow light, it needs a little bit more light, so I'd probably recommend going with potatoes initially. The reason why I went for wheat is because wheat produces a lot of wheat itself, and in turn you can process that in your furnace, bio waste or whatever, and then you process that into charcoal. So but, as a side note, so basically you put the wheat through a recycler if you've got one like this, and then basically you then stick it in whatever furnace you like. I do tend to use my other furnace for this. It's so if it come around here, say if you then put the organic matter or whatever into just the regular furnace here, now it will produce gases. Once again, I don't know if you want to save those, but I think it does actually produce volatiles, so it might be worth doing. I mean, there is enough volatile ice on this planet. And then once you've got your charcoal, you can just stick it in your regular generator here, turn it on and you'll be producing quite a lot of power actually. But now you can run on coal, but I found coal to be fairly rare on this world, so like I say, maybe save it for emergency use. You don't start with one of these generators, so you will have to make one, but like I say, I tend to rely on other sources of power, so it's not an urgent priority setting this generator up really. Now, one of the big things about this playthrough is not only can you buy bio waste that you can turn obviously then into charcoal from them, which is cost nothing, but you can also effectively buy heat, which is incredibly important for your Stirling generator. Like I say, I've got a little guy here, but oops, I've not powered my landing pad. Let's try that. But if you scroll down, so obviously buy pollutants, as you know, it's free money, but you can buy dirty volatiles. If you look here, that they come in at 500 degrees centigrade, so that's a very hot gas for you to use, which is really good. But even better than that, you can buy steam, and if you look here, steam comes in at 800, and that's going to produce you a tremendous amount of power, and it's also going to give you water, so it's a win-win. It's an excellent buy. And this guy's just a small trader, so he's not selling that much of it. But if you come around the side here, but obviously I've got a little sort of processing set up, but well, there's nothing in there at the moment, but this is like a holding tank where I sort of load the steam or volatiles from the trader into this tank here, transferring into this little holding area where I can ship it to my main sort of hot tank if I want to, or I can do some processing here. And this is, well, I've set up a H2 filter here, but that didn't work. But what you might want to do is set up a volatiles filter here. Like I say, if you buy the dirty volatiles, it comes with some other rubbish that you don't want, so you want to filter out the volatiles. But so I've got like a temporary storage tank, so if you look, I've got steam in there at the moment. It's 800 degrees, which is going to produce me a lot of power. And on the side here, I've basically got this little heat exchanger. I've gone for the medium one. You could probably get away with two small ones, but you will need quite a lot. And what this does is it just equalizes the temperature between obviously your stored gas or whatever, and over here I've got my hot tank. So and the hot tank obviously then pipes through into the Stirling generator. So this is quite a good setup. If you look down the bottom here, I've got a little heater, and if ever I've got excess power or whatever, I turn that into heat, because obviously you can later on you can turn heat back into power. It's not the most efficient, but it's a little way of sort of recycling sort of power and stuff if you have excess or not enough, so it's quite good. But anyway, so back to this. So I've set up, so this has your steam in it. Now steam obviously when it liquefies will sort of damage these pipes, so I've just got a condensation valve here, and then a little storage area here. Now I have got a little storage tank here. There's nothing in it at the moment, but you could probably get away without having the pipes actually store 20 litres each or something, so there's quite a lot of storage here just in the pipes really. I just wanted a bit extra, and I wanted to initially had it's on top of here. I had a few extra pipes, and I stuck the small radiators on there to just radiate, because obviously when it comes here, even though it's liquid, it's still at over 100 degrees centigrade, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's how the game works. But if ever I want to emergency evacuate this, you have to have an active vent. You can't use a passive one, sort of, because obviously that'll just waste the whole lot. So I just had a little active one here I can turn on and off in case the pressure or whatever, some emergency happens. But anyway, what I have set up is one of these large extendable radiators. Now you can click on these to extend them, and they do radiate quite a lot of heat, but you got to be a little bit aware that obviously when the sun shines on it, they can also absorb heat. It's not a huge amount, but you can, round the side here, you got rotational buttons. So maybe I need a hang on a sec, I need my wrench maybe to do it, but here you go. So if I do it, you'll see it rotating and stuff. But so you can sort of rotate it so it's not in the angle of the sun or whatever. And then obviously I output via a pump to my water tank that I'll place here when I process it. But this steam is amazing. Like I say, water is quite a good sort of retainer of heat. So it really hangs on to the heat. And like I say, so my little generator around here produces an absolute boatload of power off of that. So I'd highly recommend it. Whoops. Okay, well, whatever. But I guess we've got some pollutants or some nasties in there. Oh, it's probably dropped in power, in temperature. Yeah, if you look, it's minus 77 in there. So my coolant pipe once again, and this is why I run nitrogen. Like I say, you can handle a lot colder temperatures. But anyway, accidents happen. Anyway, so hopefully you guys have found this quite interesting. Like I say, Mimus has been quite a challenge actually. Like I say, mainly for power. So it's been quite an interesting sort of world to inhabit really. It's very different. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. Anyway, I'll sign off there and see you later.